Wade. And about the Amber Thurman case in Georgia, her family has, and it's tragic, she is a young mother who left behind a young son. But what her family has said is it was a complication from an abortion pill that she received, and she didn't get proper care when she went to a Georgia hospital, which had multiple opportunities to intervene there. Her own attorney, the family's attorney, says it wasn't the Georgia law, it was the hospital's, what he claims is malpractice, not treating her when she clearly showed up in distress and still had the byproducts of her pregnancy because of that rare complication from the abortion pill. So just to be clear on the Georgia law and how her family and her attorney sees it.
That's Kamala Harris' running mate and man who's proud of putting tampons in boys' bathrooms, Tim Walz, getting absolutely wrecked on Fox News for his repeated lies about Amber Thurman and the life issue. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish. And it looks like Kamala Harris is sending out her adult-sized Keebler elf to do grown-up interviews while she gossips with the Harpies on The View and barely fields softball questions from Stephen Colbert and Howard Stern. There's only one problem, though. Tim Walz doesn't seem to be very good at it.
Wall Street Journal says this after you were chosen to join the ticket. As the Democratic governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz signed into law initiatives allowing immigrants in the country illegally to apply for driver's licenses, qualify for free tuition at state universities, and enroll in the state's free health care program for low-income residents. Are those not magnets to draw people here, many times on dangerous journeys for themselves? And why should your taxpayers in Minnesota or across the states pay for those programs?
Well, that's not the vice president's position, but I will say this. Minnesota ranks as a top 5 business state. We rank as a top 3 state for children living, and we're the top state for health care access. I would also add this. We also have some of the safest roads. Look.
Good job not answering the question about who's going to pay for that, Tim. Also, according to the chief executive's 2024 best and worst states for business, Minnesota ranked near the bottom at 41, which isn't much better than last year when it was number 40. And as for safety, it doesn't seem that much better when it comes to undocumented migrants, considering that they had that illegal Cuban cutting people's heads off and a South American crime ring robbing people. But hey, if you live there, at least your kids will be safe in the semi-co-ed bathrooms at school that Tim Walz is so proud of.
I want to clarify what the law is there in Minnesota. Abortion Finder, a website that helps women find access, says abortion is legal throughout pregnancy in Minnesota. There is no ban or limit on abortion in Minnesota based on how far along in a pregnancy you are. You signed the bill that makes it legal through all 9 months. Is that a position you think Democrats should advocate for nationally?
Look, the vice president and I have been clear. The restoration of Roe versus Wade is what we're asking for.
But that law goes far beyond Roe v. Wade.
To make her own choice. The law is very clear. It does not change that. That was been debunked on every occasion.
But wait, let's agree. What you signed is there's not a single limit through 9 months of pregnancy. Roe had a trimester framework that did have limits through the pregnancy. The Minnesota law does not have that. This
doesn't change anything. It puts the decision back on to the woman, to the physicians, and we know that this is simply something to be brought up to be very clear. Donald Trump's asking for a nationwide abortion ban.
Wait, he has said that he has said repeatedly that he will not sign a national abortion ban. Are you calling that just, it's a flat out lie?
Yes, of course, and Senator Vance has in the past said so too. Now look, they may see this as an election issue. We see it as a right of women to make their own bodily decisions. And that's what the states like my state have the ability to put that in. States like Georgia force women to cross the border, and then we have a death of Amber Thurman. So let's be very clear. Trying to cut hairs on an issue on this is not where the American public's at. They want the restoration of Roe versus Wade. Vice President Harris said she would sign it. That's what we'll do when we're elected.
But to be clear, the Minnesota law is far beyond Roe v. Wade.
You know, it's funny that Harris and Walz have been running around crying about Republicans politicizing everything when they won't stop lying about Amber Thurman and how she had complications with pills she took to terminate her twins. I mean, they've done it so much that even her own stepfather has begged them to stop using her death for political purposes. Yet remember, according to Democrats, it's Trump and Vance who need empathy. Sounds a bit like projection if you ask me. But let me know what you think. How do you feel about Tim Walz as Harris's running mate? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye!